Hey everyone, it's Jason and this is your cruise news update. And Carnival is refusing to give compensation for a huge mistake on their part. We have a passenger that was denied boarding because they tried to use a photocopy of their passport. And I need your opinion on this last one. Do you think this is appropriate compensation for a canceled cruise? So cruise story number one, and mistakes do happen. In my opinion though, it's how companies react to them. So a passenger that was going on a Carnival ship said they booked an accessible cabin. It was an ocean view cabin. Now they said they needed this because they're in a wheelchair. So it came time for final payment and they already had their credit card set up so it would just charge it. So they get their final payment via email. They see all the invoice there and their cabin had been switched from an accessible cabin to a non-accessible cabin. Obviously, being a wheelchair user, they need that. So they call up Carnival and they said they spent hours on the phone. And Carnival was giving them pushback because they said, well, the ship is sold out. And they're like, that's not my problem. It's your problem. You're the ones who switched my cabin. And I didn't know I was going to have to watch this when I paid the final payment. I would have waited, obviously paid my final payment, watched everything. So, a couple days go by. They said they spent about 4 hours on the phone. A couple days go by and they didn't get receive a phone call. They didn't receive anything. They just got an email stating that they had moved them to an accessible cabin. Great, right? Well, no, because they not only moved them to an accessible cabin, but they moved them to an inside accessible cabin. Now, they weren't too miffed by this, but they're like, hey, look, I paid for a ocean view cabin. Those are usually more expensive. And they were very, very modest in what they were looking for. They said, hey, I figured it was about $100 worth of compensation. All that, and all they really were looking for was $100 in compensation. And so they call up Carnival again, and they said, look, you've moved me from here to there. This has been some issues. I think, I deserve some compensation. Obviously, this isn't the original cabin that I booked. And they said, well, we're so sorry, we're sold out, and we're not authorized to give you any compensation. They took to the internet asking, hey, what do you think I should do? Now, the clear-cut thing was, be nice, be cordial, but continue to escalate it. Ask for a supervisor. All Carnival needed to do is say, hey, we're so sorry. We messed up. Here's $200 in shipboard credit. Or you know what? We're going to take care of your gratuities and here's $100. Something. It's very interesting how little small things like that can just blow up. Now, many people were saying reach out to John Heald also, the brand ambassador for Carnival. And I agree with this. I think if he would have read this, seen the situation, he'll fix it. I totally believe that about him. What do you think about this? So cruise story number two, have you ever had the cruise line cancel your cruise? So a passenger related a story as they were going to be on the first Sun Princess cruise next year in the Mediterranean. So it's next March. And they said that they received an email and Princess Cruises made some changes and they were canceling that cruise. And as their apology, they wanted to offer all these passengers a 20% future cruise credit. Seems nice and reasonable, right? Well, they said they went through and looked at every single week on the Sun Princess because they had to use it on the Sun Princess in the Mediterranean next year. So they went through every single week. And the cheapest they could find in the same category cabin was 44% higher than their original cruise. And yet they were only being offered a 20% future cruise credit. So they call up Princess and they said, hey, is there anything you can do? Because you guys made the mistake. You made the change and hey, it happens. And once again, just like in the first story, bad customer service. So sorry, nothing we can do. Basically, take it or leave it. That's really disappointing. So it's 24% higher than the future cruise credit. Why even offer it? Just offer them a 20% future cruise credit on anything. Don't make it specific to the Sun Princess in the Mediterranean next year. Say, hey, you have to use it in the next 2 years, 20% off, so sorry, and here's a couple $200 shipboard credit. They know their prices went up 44%. They know this. It seems really unreasonable. And once again, it goes back to customer service. What do you guys think about this? And have you ever had a cruise canceled? And what kind of compensation did you get? So before I get to cruise story number 3, I would ask that you please like this video and consider subscribing, as it does help the channel grow. If you could do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much. So cruise story number 3, and please never do this. So a passenger said they were getting on their cruise. Now they didn't specifically say which cruise it was, but they did post this in a celebrity forum. So they're getting to the port agent, and they check all your information, make sure that you're healthy and all that stuff. Sometimes they have to retake your picture. For Lori and I, they always have to retake our pictures. I have no idea why. So they're hearing this conversation in front of them. And a lady pulls out 2 pieces of paper. And the port agent looks at it and seems confused and said, well, I see this is a photocopy of your passports. Where are the originals? And the lady says, well, they're back at home in our safe. She goes, you needed to bring your originals. We can't accept these. And she loses her mind. What do you mean you can't accept them? It's not safe to travel with your original passports. She's like, where did you hear that? She goes, well, it's everywhere. Can you imagine you're getting on your cruise and you hear this? I don't know whether to feel sorry for them. It's just awful. She goes, how far do you live from your home? She goes, well, we're a couple hours away. She goes, well, I hope you can get to your home, get your passports, and get back in time because you're being denied boarding. Folks, if you are going on a cruise, make sure you have the proper documentation. Now, I personally always have a passport. I like that. It doesn't matter on a closed loop sailing or not. And closed loop sailing means basically from the United States back to the United States. You don't really need a passport. But if anything were to happen in any of those islands, well, it makes it very difficult to get back to the United States. What do you guys think about this? Have you ever heard a story like this? Now, the passenger said they had no idea if they got on the ship or not. They said they never saw them on the ship for the entire week, but they were hoping maybe they were in some other different areas and they got on the ship. Just a sad situation. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you again so much for the continued support. And until I talk to you soon, happy cruising.